Hi everybody, welcome to Let's Talk About It. And today we're going to be discussing dating men and women with children. I'm Key.
And I'm your girl, Ta.
And let's get into it. But first we're going to start off, we're going to take our first shot of the night. Let's talk about it. Okay.
Get your substance or whatever you feel that you need to help you talk about it.
Right.
No judgment here, y'all. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. So, since we're on the subject of dating men with kids, personally, I'm going to talk about my experience with dating with me. Like dating, as far as dating a woman with kids. So I do have a child. I have a daughter. She's 4 years old. And for me, for my past experience with my last relationship, I was dating a man who wasn't in his daughter's life, and according to him, it was the mother being bitter. But there's always two sides to a story. So basically, what my experience with that was, I was never really comfortable with it. I was never really like whatever. Like I really honestly didn't even want him around my daughter. It took me a minute to even have him even like around her at all because of that simple fact that he wasn't in his own daughter life, and because my daughter's father is not in her life. So that really it never actually sat right with me. Even to this day, it still don't sit right with me. I keep burping.
Excuse me.
Sorry, y'all. It still don't sit right with me. Yeah. So, with that being said, I just feel like any man, no matter what your situation is, and I'm not saying stop your life because if you have a situation where your baby mother is bitter or something like that, I just feel like personally for me, you don't even need to date or do anything until you have that under control, because number one, that's baggage, and everybody has their own baggage that they bring. But when you're dealing with a woman who actually has a child of her own, imagine how that looks. Like it doesn't look right. It don't look right. It don't feel right. Especially if you have a woman with standards and respect for herself and others as well. Like it just doesn't look or feel right. So I definitely feel like that's something that men, like, we need to talk about it. So stop painting the baby mothers to be so bitter. But what did you do?
Tell the whole story.
There's always three sides to a story, y'all. The truth, his and hers. So I want to hear every side. So like I want to be able to decipher that for myself, what the truth might be, because I don't know her side. I only know what you tell me.
Exactly.
So with that being said, like, I feel like we should normalize telling both sides of the motherfucking story instead of just telling your side and what you know.
Even if you feel like you wrong, then two left shoes. Tell both sides. One thing I learned about being an adult, and I'm telling a story of a situation because I don't have children, but one thing I've learned is telling both sides, even if I'm bad shit wrong. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? If you want good advice on whatever you're going through, specifically that, you need to tell both sides, because ain't no way, you know what I'm saying, that the mom, even or the dad, because there's some deadbeat moms out here. Let's start there. Like it's not just the men. You know what I'm saying? Tell both sides. Don't come to either of us trying to, make it seem like your child was just taken away from you off something so little.
Off some random stuff.
Because that makes us look at you like, because we're getting older. That makes us look at you like, so what you do?
Exactly. And let's be real, it usually doesn't work that way. Even from my experience, it don't usually work that way. And mind you, you do have some that are just that bitter to where if you don't want to be with them, they don't want you around a kid. Like, it happens.
Even when it comes down to the men. Yeah.
Even when it comes down to the men.
It happens.
Yes, it does. So, I'm not saying that, but please make sure that you let it be known exactly what's going on. Like, just be honest about it. Like, just be real. Like, be real about your mistakes and the mistakes you may have made in the past. Like, it's okay. Everybody makes poor choices in life. Everybody does.
That's fine.
So it's okay. Like, it's okay. It's completely okay.
See, honestly, like, I haven't dealt with any woman who had children coming into the relationship, but I've dealt with men having children coming into the relationship. Mm-hmm. You know, after a while, like I said, getting older, it definitely helped me understand that sometimes love isn't enough for someone to make their relationship work with their kid's mom or father's dad, whatever the case may be. And I just feel like, personally, growing up with an absentee parent, father, that it's important for me to understand and me to have the outlook, whereas it's like, you're not going to let anything come between you and your child.
Right.
And I personally had the idea of not messing with anybody with children, only because from the things I see around me, far as people go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I know people who still screwing their baby mama or still screwing their baby father and want you to be 100% invested in them.
Exactly.
I didn't want to be that product and that backup support that they had, because I know, like, in my head, I'm like, I know, but you can't hold everybody to that, you know, situation.
Exactly.
And because some people's actually really done, you know what I'm saying? But for me, when I did get out of that and I grew out of that, I'm like, okay, cool. Mm-hmm. If you're not, for me personally, because I have trauma. I have certain trauma.
And we're going to get into that.
We're going to get into it.
We're going to get into
it. And it's
it.
like, if you're not there for your own kid, I just can't be with somebody like that. You know, because it's like she said earlier, she had the problem struggling with that.
I struggle with that. Like
and I know she did.
Sad because I really loved him.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't get with
the
fact that
situation.
I was dealing with my situation with my daughter, father not being in her life. And then I had to turn around and deal with this man. I don't know if he's telling me the truth. Like, I don't know it. Like, I just don't know.
And they say believe your man or woman. But it's like, when you give them that ounce of believable substance, or even remotely even take their side, you don't want to come off as one of them people. But at the same time, it's like, this is my man, this is my woman. You know, they want to stir me wrong, but it's like, you got to get into it yourself. Because like she said earlier, it's 3 sides to every story.
Exactly.
His side, her side, and the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Even down to the LGBTQ community, when you see sometimes now that it's very common for a child to have 2 of the same sex parents because they have done the whole, what you call it? What Kim K did?
Oh, surrogacy.
Yeah,
surrogacy.
It's like, okay, cool. I personally, you know, I'm not one of them people that feel like, well, you didn't have that kid or you didn't carry that kid. I'm not one of them. If that child grew up around you, knowing you for who you are, you need to stick with that. It's yours. Mm-hmm. Because there's no stamp on what's a real mother or a real father or whatever the case may be. It's no stamp on that. So I actually dealt with somebody who had problems with their child, but they were older. They were my age. And the child felt really neglected. Like, they really felt neglected, and I couldn't help but understand his pain. Like, mind you, the kid is my age. I'm not going to say kid. The person is my age who felt neglected. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause like I said earlier, I've dealt with older men, and it's like, I can't help but understand where they're coming from. You know what I'm saying? So much hurt, so much pain, and that whole situation just made me sympathize with them. Because at the end of the day, no matter how grown you get, you are the child in the situation. You're the kid. You're their kid in that situation. So when I was growing up, it was given very much when the kid don't have no option. The kid don't have that. So all these options and picking and choosing that they got today it was never an option.
Yeah, it's weird because I just feel like we really didn't have it
option
as
it's
easy as
pick
this
and choose.
Generation does. You know,
it's like, oh, you let her curse you out.
Exactly, they get to pick and choose. Like they have a choice. Like I don't really feel like we had a choice.
We didn't. That's because we didn't.
Yeah,
we didn't.
They didn't.
So it's like, okay, your best excuse is they didn't want to talk to me. You're their parent.
Exactly.
If you wanted to do it, you would do it. Because let's be real. Let's talk about it.
Right. Let's talk about
when it comes to these men and women, you wouldn't have been over backwards for them. Try no matter how many times, no matter how bad the situation is toxic, you're willing to keep trying and trying and trying.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to your kids and you can't do that.
Exactly. And that was the thing for me. I feel like, okay, so given the situation, he was like, okay, she's making it hard for me. She don't let me come to the house to see my daughter or whatever the case may be. And I was like, okay, so why didn't you take her to court yet? Because if it was me, if it was the mother, we don't have that type of option or time to be wasting. Like, we mothers literally go crazy when we're not with our children. Like, we don't have an option to be like, okay, I'm gonna wait. No, his excuse was, okay, I'm gonna wait until I can get money for a good lawyer, or I'm gonna wait until I got all these things to better myself. But at the end of the day, they forget that it's not about you. It's not about you. You know what I'm saying? I understand you're trying to show what you can bring to the table, but at the same time, mothers come with way less. So why do you feel like you can wait to fight for your child until you get your shit together? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Am I wrong? Y'all, let me know if am I wrong? Like, am I making sense?
You're making sense for sure. But, you know, dealing with a family member who does have that issue, you know, automatically it seems like they will go with the mom. Mm-hmm. But like she said, moms off the break can't figure out no excuse as to why they can't get their child back, or if the case was in that situation, they gotta really be able to understand. Mm-hmm. They go through the same process as you will have to go. But in a mom's perspective, it's nothing that's gonna keep you away from being with your kids.
Exactly. Like, there's nothing. I don't care. It's like, Tal, you know my story. You know, like, even not just like 2 years ago, I was literally like homeless with my daughter, but we were like in a shelter or whatever. But it still didn't register to me. Like, he probably was her father was probably in a better situation than me and Peyton was, my daughter. He was probably in a better situation than we were. But even still, I still was able to be a mother and take care of my daughter and make sure she had what she needed, no matter what. And
that's what she mean by y'all get the picking. It's picking and choosing.
Yeah, it's really picking and choosing.
Because at the end of the day,
and I'm not trying to down men. I'm not trying to do none of that.
Because there is some men out here who take the role of the mom and the dad.
Exactly.
But like we said earlier, we speaking from a woman's perspective. She's speaking from a woman's perspective. There's no man here to, you know, give that input.
Right.
But just about what we see. But again, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors as far as the male's perspective go. Let's just be clear.
Exactly.
But, you know, I never had an issue. Well, I've had an issue sometimes. I mean, not lie. I've had an issue sometimes with people with children because either they wasn't handling their responsibilities or, you know, deep down inside in my gut, I felt like, okay, this is not going to work. Like, they're messing with their kid's mom, and it's understandable. I'm sorry to say this, ladies, but this is understandable. And ladies, if you really want to be honest with yourself, if you know, you know. You know, if y'all don't have no 100% bad relationship, y'all understand how difficult it can be to deal with somebody who has children, even down to the LGBT community. I don't have a problem with you still withholding in a child's life because I understand the significance of that. As them being so young, they're used to seeing this type of parent around them. To have that snatched away, it throws their mind off. Exactly. Then they begin to have resentment against you. Then it's like you have to, the mom who carried or whatever the case may be, has to explain to them what has happened. Exactly. And it's hard to explain to a child, especially when they're so young. Why did mommy and mommy not work? Or why didn't daddy and daddy didn't work? Or why did mommy and daddy didn't work? Like, it's so hard to explain to the child. And in these days, having the circumstances that you can't have, whereas it could be a same sex situation. You have to explain to the child as well what that comes behind.
Exactly.
Because children in school is mean. They're mean.
Oh, for sure.
They're mean.
Oh, yeah.
My girl said she jumping on somebody's child. Hey, the parent.
No, for real.
And I don't blame her.
And that's my fear with going, like, when my daughter, like, just starting out with school and things like that. Like, if somebody messing with my daughter,
advanced.
Yeah, they're too, like,
they
have
advanced.
too much access nowadays. We're in 2021. It's just too much. It's too much. Like, the internet is just absolutely too much for kids. It's really vicious. And they see way too much.
They don't sugarcoat nothing.
They don't sugarcoat nothing.
Because there's like times, even when I was in school, when we were in school, you know, I hear all the little girls talking, talking to me, asking what. Because look, one thing about little kids, they going to ask. They gonna ask.
And they gonna tell us.
They gonna tell the truth. One thing about little kids, it's been times where I was in school, you know what I'm saying? And it was certain situations where a parent had to show up, like different parents had to show up to different things. And I can remember vividly, I was in elementary school, and everyone had their father coming to the program. It was like a little program, like a little performance. And everyone wanted to know, where's your father? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just one of them it's one of those moments where you can't even really explain too much to a child. You just gotta understand, and it sucks because these days, these kids of today, they're beginning to understand more and more. Yeah. And it's scary. Yeah. Let me just start there.
I really hate that my daughter is growing up in the generation that she is, because not only is she exposed to a lot more,
she is,
but they're more advanced and like,
because no child should have
knowledgeable to the things that we wasn't at the age. Exactly. Like, we really didn't care necessarily because we had mothers, right? But at the same time, it was just like they have the internet, like they have more access than ever. Exactly. So it's
even
more
down to the cartoons. That brings me to this. Yeah. Watch the cartoons that your kids watch, because
you gotta be careful.
You think it's all
handy dandy until you hear them saying, "Don't go in the water. You might get your balls wet." Like,
no, what? For real. No, let's be real. Let's keep it a stack.
No, we're gonna keep it a stack about these cartoons,
because they're exposing our kids to so much. Rather, as I was always taught, as far as those kind of situations goes, even down to a one-parent household, don't go receiving information from somebody who don't know what they talk about. The fact that our children is YouTube accessible, let's just be real. The toys thing, okay, that's a thing. But the iPads, the tablets, all of that is a thing as well. These kids can work things by themselves.
Right. I don't even feel like kids really play with toys anymore.
And it's like they're being exposed to so much, especially nowadays, dealing with the LGBTQ community. You know what I'm saying? I'm all with that. But don't force that on nobody's child. Exactly. Don't have that certain perspective on nobody's child. Let their parent decide whether they want them to know about that or not, or same-sex marriage.
Let the child choose. Like, they know. They know what they like.
We grew to like. We grew to know.
You know what you like.
And I wasn't exposed to that. I don't remember one bit.
Exactly. So like, her mother didn't expose her to being gay or anything like that. Like, her mother is not that. But it's just like, you know what you like, you know what you want, and it comes with time, with getting older and experiences. So I just feel like
that goes for everything.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Goes for everything.
That goes for everything. So we not going, wrap y'all up too much more. But this is how these are our true feelings, and it just needs to be talked about.
Yeah, absolutely. So, just all in all, I feel like the message that we're leaving off in this video is to take accountability, take responsibility for the things that you do in life, no matter what.
My girl was hitting some good points here. I'm saying.
No matter your walk in life, y'all, no matter your walk in life, no matter where you come from, no matter your story, everybody has a story. Remember that. Everybody has a story. Look, write it down.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Everybody has a story, y'all. Everybody has a story, but it's all about
how you handle
it and how you go
dictate
forward.
your life, especially when it comes to your kids. Because let me tell you,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna grow up, they're gonna learn. Even if you're not one of those parents to even bash your child's mom or dad, understand that child is gonna realize that they had something that they didn't have, something that everyone else had, and they're gonna resent you for it, and you're gonna have to answer to that.
Exactly.
Understand that. I know from experience, like I said earlier in the show, I know. But don't let that be your circumstance.
Yeah, don't let it make you. Don't let it make you.
Because the damn show will break you. Because these kids is exposed to way too much.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
So we want to thank y'all for watching our show. Thank y'all for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Leave your comments down below. Let us know what y'all think. Let us know any topics that y'all want to talk about. And thank you so much. Like, we really appreciate all the support so far. And again, my name is Key. This is Ta. And we are tuned in to Let's Talk About It. Bye, y'all later.